Would you like to save $500 to $1,000 a month in your personal home account and then maybe multiple times that in your business account? Hi, this is Randy Kirk, Small Business Daily. And today we're going to be talking about a bunch of ways to save a bunch of money. If that sounds like something that you would like, push the like button. And if you'd like to have lots and lots of ways of helping your small business grow and prosper and get more vacations, would you press the subscribe button as well? And we can also notify you if you hit the bell. Okay, let's talk about ways. Lots of ways. Now, some of these you probably already know, and you go, oh, Randy, I know how to do that. But are you doing it? That becomes the issue. Sometimes you know about it, but you don't do it. We're going to be talking about a bunch of things that you may or may not know about. But if you already know them, then it's just a reminder. If you don't know them, then all right, let's take care of it. But here's the key. If you'll sit down and just spend about 3 hours, I'm thinking 3 hours, 4 hours, going through these different approaches, you will start looking at the end of the month. You're going to have $500 to $1,000 a month in your personal account that you didn't have the month before. And in business, the number could be staggering. In fact, let me tell you a quick story. I was trying to hire a president. As those of you who listen to the show all the time, you know that I didn't want to be president of my plastics manufacturing company. I wanted somebody else to come in and run the business, and I would handle the marketing. So I had this guy, and I was asking him to consider it. And he says, well, Randy, let me go through your books, talk to your employees, let me make sure that what I'm getting into here. And so he came in. He's a friend, by the way, somebody I'd known for years. So he came in and he went through the books, and then he talked to the employees. And then after 2 days of doing this, he called me into my office, right? And he says, well, Randy, he says, do you like luxuries? I said, luxuries? No, what do you mean? No, I drive a nice car and I have a nice home, but I wouldn't call them luxuries. And he says, well, you sure wouldn't know it by looking at your company. I said, really? He says, yeah. He says, when we get done, you're going to be saving tens of thousands of dollars a month if you choose to. I said, well, is this how you're going to decide whether you go to work for me, is whether I take your first advice and make these savings? And he goes, I'm not even going to tell you that. Well, anyway, he lays it all out. And he was right. I had 2.5 people in my art department. And he said, clearly, we could get by with 2. And he's also said, if it turns out you can't, you can always find that half of an employee again. We had sort of similar situation in bookkeeping. We had 1.5 people in the bookkeeping position. And he says, I'm 100% sure you can do this with 1. He says, you've been going to some of these trade shows for years, and I don't see any return on investment on those trade shows. He says, I think maybe you should cut those trade shows out. Anyway, he went down the list. And in every case, it was really hard to argue with him. So over the weekend, I basically did everything he told me to do. And the savings were tremendous, okay? So this works not just for your home, but it also works for your business. And some of them are the same items, okay? So let's go down the list. We got, 15 minutes, 16 minutes left here for today's show that we can go down this list. Let's see how many of them we can get done. Number 1, and probably the easiest of all, is recurring bills on things that you no longer care about. Okay, I've got them. I've got them right now. In fact, as soon as I get done recording this, I'm going to go get rid of a couple of those. So you might have, somebody came in and said, hey, this will cost $10 a month. And you're like, oh yeah, sure. This is $29.90 a month. Sure, that's a great offer. Maybe it's even $100 a month. Oh, of course, it wouldn't be 100. It'd be 97 or 99. So you probably, like me, have a bunch of things in your account that are being pulled out every month on a recurring basis, and you're not even using that service anymore. Or maybe you use it once a year, but it's not worth that kind of money. So what you want to do is you want to go through your checking account at home, start there, it's easier. Go through your checking account and find out if there's anything in there that's a recurring amount and whether you need it anymore. One of the ways to find out whether you need it anymore is to unsubscribe, and then you'll find out in a month or two whether you need it, and then you can get it back. If there's some question, that's one way to do it. Okay. Number two, go through your credit cards, all of them. That's where I get the most problem. So I'll put it on a credit card instead of on my debit card, and then it's $9.99, and the credit card comes in, boom, the $10 gets paid, and I don't think about it, and it's just month after month after month. Well, what's 10 bucks? What's 10 bucks? Well, it's $120 a year. It's $1,200 a decade. So what's $30 a month? Well, triple it, okay? So these things do add up. I am going to challenge you, and I hope you'll put it in the comments. You will find at least $50 a month on your personal home account. You and your spouse and your kids, you're going to find at least $50 a month that you don't need, and probably $100. So if you get rid of $100 or $50, would you let me know in the comments below that you found and got rid of those items? Well, now let's go to the office. Let's go to the office account, the office credit cards. The same thing, only the bigger numbers. You've signed up for this thing, it's $99, and this other was $159, and something else is maybe even $199. And you bought them and you paid for them on a monthly basis, and you're not even using them anymore. Get rid of them. Stop them, unsubscribe. Some of them are going to be $10 too, and $29. Get rid of them. If they, again, unless you're using them, it's time to get rid of them. Sometimes I do look at it. I use Adobe for art. It's $29.95 a month. Well, I use it maybe 10 pictures a month out of Adobe, so that's $2.99 each. So it's like I think about it each month, and well, yeah, maybe not. And then maybe somebody's come along that's offering almost the same thing as Adobe now for free or for $9.99 a month instead of $29. You got to think these through on a regular basis because they do add up. So that is for the office and for the home where I always start. Number two is going to be all of your utilities, your cable bills, your phone, your TV, your phone, every aspect of these, again, recurring amounts that you have to have them. You have to have something. You have to have something. But the truth is that almost all of them, there's some negotiability associated with them. Okay. So start with your home again. It's so much easier. Take anything. Take your electric bill. Your electric bill is negotiable. Well, sort of. Okay. So your electric bill, you call the electric company and say, you know what, this is crazy. I don't like paying this much. Well, do you know that if you ran your washing machine that does, 8 o'clock at night instead of at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, how much you would say? They're going to actually send somebody out to do a walkthrough in your home. They're going to make recommendations. They're going to suggest ways that you can cut your bill. You may want to just make the opportunity while you're thinking about it to go for solar on your roof. Solar today, almost 100% of the time, is going to save you money compared to your regular electric bill. And some solar, like solar with battery, you're actually going to be getting paid by the utility company to do it. Okay, so it may be an opportunity for you to go from paying $250 a month for your electric bill to paying $50 or $100 a month, or maybe the electric company is sending you a check for 50 bucks. That savings alone could be worth amazing amounts of money to you. How about other things like that? So you have your gas bill and you have, go down the line, all those utilities. Now let's switch over to things like your internet, your phone bill, etc. I know that there's a lot of competition out for you for those things. Everybody wants your business, and they're always having deals and deals on top of deals. So all you do is you call. You call the other cell phone provider that you're not using, and you say, by the way, what's your hot deal if I switch? Well, they might be willing to pay you to switch. They might be willing to give you extremely low rates for the first year, but then you're sucked in for another year or two. But the idea is don't be sucked in for any longer than the contract. Okay. And sometimes companies will buy you out of the contract. So there's always a buyout price. So, okay, you get the low rate for a year. Now you call the other guy and go, okay, listen, what's your rate? And by the way, I've got a contract. Are you willing to buy them out? You can do this back and forth all the time. Now, maybe that sounds like a lot of work, but Why not do it just this once? I'm guaranteeing you that somebody is going to give you a deal right now that's going to be very good for the next 12 months on your cable or on your cell phone or on your internet hookup. They're going to give you a deal to switch. Okay. And if you decide later that you want to try it again, great. I don't do it very often. Probably about every 3 or 4 years, I'll go and make that series of phone calls to see who's offering the deals. So I'm telling you right now, you're going to save $100 a month. Okay, that's my deal. Put it in the comments if you saved $100, or put it in the comments if you said, you know what, Randy, I called all of them and I didn't save a dime. I just kept the same folks that I got now. Well, okay, but I'd like to hear it in the comments to find out whether or not, but I know it works. I've done it over and over, and friends of mine have done it as well. Okay, go to the office. Now let's just do the same thing. You've got some of the same bills, but they're bigger. So there's more of an opportunity to solve it. Some people are sitting there working on less than 100 megabits of download speed, and they're wondering, why things are also slow in their office. Believe me, if you pick up the phone and you call 3, 4, 5 people, you're going to find somebody that's going to come in and get you with 200 megabits of download speed up your entire operation, and maybe it doesn't cost you a dime more. I know people that will give you a dial tone for much less than the dial tone you've got now. I know people that will, believe me, you start picking up the phone and talking to these utility providers, and I'm lumping in regular utilities with the internet, et cetera. You're going to save money across the board. Back to the electric company, they will come out and do an audit for your office or for your store or for your manufacturing or wholesale facility and make recommendations on how you can save money. And sometimes they're going to pay you to put the stuff in. They're going to actually pay cities and states and counties, et cetera. Sometimes the feds have programs that will pay you to do all of this, or rebates that will help with the payment. As mentioned before, you've got solar, there's always rebates, and the current president is planning to increase some of those rebates for you in this coming year. This is a time to take advantage of it. Okay, what would be next? Well, what about, let's go back home again, and let's talk about things that are not utilities. So you may have other things that you pay on a regular basis. Okay, how about groceries? How about sundries? How about your prescriptions? How about everything associated with how you live? Believe me, there are better deals out there. I switched about 10 years ago to Costco. If I could do it, if there was any way to buy 100% of all the groceries and sundries that I needed from Costco, I would do it. It's impossible, in my opinion, to be running over to Costco every 5 days for perishables. So we do buy a few things from the local grocery store. But by and large, I buy $600 or $700 worth of Costco product every 6 or 7 weeks, and I have it delivered. I don't go near the place. I go on, I forget the name of the company we use, but we go in, we order it up. They bring it out for $35 or some such amount of money. It's really easy. They put it on the floor in my garage and I stack it. That's it. That's all I have to do. So Costco, there's other folks like Costco, but I don't use them, so I can't talk about them. I do know that Costco's entire business plan is they charge 15% above what they pay for the product. Other retailers don't do that. They charge 35, 50, even doubling the amount that they pay for products that they put in the stores. So you're always going to save. Every report, every study that's ever been done, you're going to save money at Costco compared to traditional retail grocery stores. Same thing when you compare sundries and drugstore items. Okay, in addition to Costco, I use Amazon. Pretty much, if I don't buy it in Costco, I buy it on Amazon. Amazon stops my house almost every day. So maybe they do for you already too. But you're going to save a lot of money by shopping on Amazon. because their prices are less than what you're going to buy elsewhere. And you've got all those great reviews to make decisions about products that you haven't bought before. And the ease of it. I mean, I like a certain kind of t-shirt. I don't want to figure out next time where to buy the next t-shirt. If I like the last t-shirt, I want 5 more. Then I go on Amazon. It tells me what I bought before. I push the rebuy button. Okay, that's at home. Same thing at work, only much bigger numbers. Now, when you're buying on Amazon, when I buy paper or when I buy poly bags or when I buy other things for my business, I'm buying them in bulk. I'm buying large amounts. I'm buying them on Amazon. I'm saving huge amounts of money compared to buying them from other resources. So Amazon and Costco, that's a combo that I highly recommend. Now then, your business gets more interesting. I think I did a whole nother YouTube video on this with regard to pricing and how to get your costs down so that you can have more flexibility with your prices. But if you don't have an outstanding buyer working for you, or if you're not an outstanding buyer, get somebody within your organization who loves to negotiate, who loves to go out there and find the best price at the best value, to go out and start doing your buying for your company. Even if you're only buying $1,000 worth of stuff a month, it's worth it. But you might, if you're in wholesale or manufacturing or retail, you might be buying tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of products every month. What if you can save 5% of 100,000? That'd be $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. Would that make it worth listening to my channel? If you like that, push the like button. Would you like to have 60,000 extra to take home to your parent, to your family each month? I know I would always like to have an extra 60,000 floating around. I encourage you. The buyer's position is a major position in every company, and it's easier to make money on the buy side than it is on the sell side. You make the money one time on the buy side, and now for month after month after month, you get the continued benefit of having knocked that price down. So go back to every single supplier you have, look at alternative suppliers, compare prices, compare quality, compare shipping terms, compare the actual terms of payment, compare everything about what they do and how they do it, and find out if you're with the right supplier now. And if you're with the right supplier, use the leverage from having talked to other suppliers to get your suppliers to lower some of their prices or give you better terms. So those are some ways that you can dramatically change what's going on with your company in some significant dollars. What about your rent? Whether you're renting your home or whether you're renting your business location, either one of those is subject to negotiation. Home rents right now are probably not going to be that easy to negotiate. Negotiating a new rent on your office space is almost 100% sure to be something you could get the price down, especially if you give them a long-term contract. So check with your landlord, all right? What about if you own the building or you own your home? Well, if you haven't already done this, what I'm going to say to you next is going to be something where you're going to want to write me a thank you note. You're not just going to comment. You're going to send me a thank you note with flowers. If you haven't already called your mortgage broker, what are you waiting for? If you're sitting with a loan that is currently at 3.5% or 4% or 4.5% or 5% interest rate, and you haven't called your mortgage broker yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's time to give that call. Believe me, there are people, you may be laughing because you're like, no, are you kidding? I got my 299, 4 months ago. It's time, if you haven't refinanced your house in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or longer, it's time to refinance your house. But Randy, I only have 12 years to go on my mortgage. Great. You only have 12 years to go on your mortgage? Don't add to your mortgage. Call your mortgage guy and tell him you want a 12-year loan, but you want it at the current rates. When you find out what the current rates are and what that does to your monthly payment, maybe you can pay it off in 8 years. Now, if you have a 12-year mortgage now and you can make the same payments and pay it off in 8 years, do you think it'd be worth it to send me a thank you card or at least push the like button? So I know I'm talking to people out there who haven't done it yet because you just, oh, I got to sign all those papers and I go through those baloney and oh my gosh, that's going to take so much time. Do it. Take care of it. Solve it now. While we're on the subject of credit, if you have credit cards or other kinds of credit facilities that are over 6%, you need to find a way to get rid of it. Just get rid of it, okay? Dave Ramsey says you should get rid of those credit cards. And all of my kids love Dave Ramsey. I don't use Dave Ramsey, but for the most part, Dave Ramsey is 100% right. Get rid of those credit cards where you're paying 15, 20, 25% per year to have the ability to use the few dollars that you're using. You need to get rid of them. What's the process? Here's an almost free process. Get your credit score above 700, 740 in that area. You want to get that credit score up. And sometime in the future, we'll do another Small Business Daily about how to increase and improve your credit score. But get it up to that level, and all of a sudden, you're going to find that everybody and their third cousin wants to give you a new credit card with a 0% interest rate. And it'll charge you either 2 or 3% in order to transfer the credit you have somewhere else into their credit card. And typically, you're going to get a year, 14, 16 months to pay off that zero credit card balance. If you don't pay it off within that time, which I think you'll be able to do, but if you don't pay it off within that time, then at the end of that period, you find another zero credit card and you use that one to pay off that one. But again, what are you paying? You're paying 3% roughly for a year. Not 12%, not 18%, not 24%. You're paying 3% to transfer it. That's all you're paying. And now it's 0 for a year or longer. So once again, you're going to save $50, $100 a month. If you've got a credit card out there that's got $20,000 on it or $10,000 on it that you're paying 15% on, you're talking about $1,500 a year. If you can get that down to 0 by making a one-time payment of $300, isn't that a good deal? Okay, so there's another way to save some money. So now, if you are saving all this money here, 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 and here, then you can use that money to pay down that credit card, okay? Or you can take that money and you can invest it wisely in a 401k or something else that's going to build your wealth. And when you do that, not only have you saved money by not doing these other things, now you are going to start to increase your wealth and you're going to earn more and more interest or return on your investment. This is going to be, if you do everything that I just said, it will change your life. That's all I'm suggesting. Personally, I'm a spender. I spend on one thing. I spend on vacations. I don't spend on clothes. I don't spend a lot on a house. Our house is modest. I don't spend a lot on automobiles. I spend nice cars, but it's not. I just did buy my wife a Model Y, so that's a nice car, okay? But she had her last car for 20 years. So I'm not a big spender except on vacations. I use the ways that I save all this money in all these other areas to take really nice vacations. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to be talking about how important it is for you to take vacations. So please like and please subscribe, please notify. And this is Randy Kirk, Small Business Daily. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to talk about your next 5-week vacation.